This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 9. And verse 9 in the Holy Scriptures, and it reads in the book of Luke, "But when ye should hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must come to pass, but the end is not by and by." Matthews 24 and 60, verse 8, and verse 6 in the book of Matthews in the Holy Scriptures, and it reads, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." Verse 7, "For nation shall rise against nations, and kingdom against kingdoms. And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places, and these are the beginning of sorrows." Precept again, Mark 13:7 through verse 8. "And when ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, be ye not troubled, for such things must need be, but the end shall not be yet." Verse 8 in the book of Matthews in the Holy Scriptures, and it reads, "For nation shall rise against nations, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows." Revelations 11 and 14. Verse 14 in the book of Revelations in the Holy Scriptures, and it reads, "The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly." Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Wakar Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, preaching His word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And I say shalom to you Akim out there. And as you see, I brought out those scriptures with the increase of commotions of wars and rumors of wars, and the nations rising against nations. And the increase of second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly. As we're definitely living in the book of Revelations, more heavier now than ever, with these wars is increasing and intensifying in the latter days. And this is a news article from RT.com, was published on August the 5th, 2022, World News, alternative news around the world. And the highlight of this news article, and it reads, "For in the news on August the 5th, 2022, on this Friday afternoon," and the highlight, and it reads, "Israel prepares to revisit a Gaza conflict intensifies." Their alert came after the Palestinian militants vowed to avenge their slain commander. Israeli Defense Minister Ben Gantz gave the green light on Friday to call up 25,000 military reservists should be able to require. Israel is on a state of high alert, with Palestinian militants promising revenge for the killing of one of their top commanders in an Israeli airstrike. The Gantz official announcement of a potential call up less than an hour of Palestinian jihadist PIJ leader Zahid al-Naqaila threatens to rain down missiles on the city of Tel Aviv over the coming hours. It says al-Naqaila, if I pronounce his name right, issued a threat after Israeli warplanes fire a missile at a apartment building in Gaza City, killing a PIJ commander, Tishar al-Jabari. The strike dubs Operation Breaking The air defense, the Israel Defense Forces, the IDF, targets an additional 10 to 20 PIJ terrorists and killed members of a terrorist squad who were on their way to carry out anti-tank missiles and sniper attacks, the Israeli military claimed. Palestine officials said that the strikes killed 9 people. Now it went up to an extra person that killed 2. Now it went from 9, now it went up to 10. Because I was looking at it on the news from CNN, I believe. Even though CNN is not 100% accurate of what they say on the news, but when I was looking at the news, I said about 10 to 15 minutes ago, they said the death toll went from 9 to 10 now. It says Palestinian official says the strikes killed at least 9, even though it went up an extra person killed, including a 5-year-old and a 55 others wounded. And they said alongside Al-Nakar threat, a joint operation room representing multiple other Palestinian militant groups issue a statement warning that the Israeli strike won't go unpunished. It says preparations for the Palestinian retaliation are underway in Israel, with the IDF Operation Emergency High Command post and deploying Iron Dome missile defense batteries near the city of Beersheba. Tells Tel Aviv and Jerusalem bomb shelters also have been ready in Tel Aviv. And it says while police and fires have been dispatched to the areas Israel borders with Gaza in anticipating of rocket fire. Shortly after Gaza announced Israeli forces renewed their assault on the Gaza, Palestine sources say another PIJ operative was reportedly killed as the IDF spokesman Ron Kazis told Israel Channel 12, "We are in the midst of a target campaign against Palestine Islamic jihadists, and that Israel is hoping not to drag Hamas into the rapid escalation." Which you never know, that might be the case. Hamas might get dragged in there as well too. You never know. It says, continue on with the reading. The IDF, meanwhile, posts video footage of its troops forming up and apparently preparing for combat. The latest escalations began with Israeli forces arrest the PIJ's West Bank leader, Basham Shadi, in the city of Jenin on Monday. A Palestinian teenagers were killed in a raid on Sadia's home, triggering an outcry. Okay.
She coming, put it in the drawer.
Okay. All right.
I can go ahead and get the glass.
Okay. Right. Yeah, true.
One night she told me,
Okay.
let's cover the whole thing.
Right.
Young folks come out and fuck them up.
Mm-hmm.
I just ain't nothing like me.
Right.
I'm too scared to spend money, sell my meat.
True.
I'm gonna leave it go.
Oh, okay. So continuing on with the news article, it says the IDF meanwhile posts videos of its troops coming up and apparently preparing for combat. The latest escalation began with the Israeli force arrest of PRJ's West Bank leader Bashar Sadi in the city of Jenin on Monday. The Palestinian teenagers were killed in a raid of Sadi's home, triggers outcry across the Palestinian territory as the BIJ placed its fighters on high alert. Israelis officials reportedly warned this week of the impending revenge attacks. And it says Palestinian militant vows imminent revenge on Israel. Tel Aviv will be targeting by missiles within hours. Huh? Oh yeah, I got some spray.
That motherfucker, you gonna die, bro. Oh, for real? Let me get this. Let me get that. This or that. This or that. This or that. This or that. That motherfucker, yeah, you gonna die fucking with that. I'll be back.
Alright, yeah.
Let me take my home.
Oh, you close. You can open the door, man. Yeah, you can leave it open. Yeah. Salakia, hold on just a second. Momentarily, I'll be right back. Continuing on with the news article, this is another article that is sprung out, even though it was a part of the other article that I was sprung out as well too. And this was published on August the 5th, 2022, World News, RT.com, and it says Palestinian. Oh, okay. Alright. Okay. Alright, see when y'all get back. Okay. Right. Yeah. Back to the reading. It says Palestinian militants vows imminent revenge on Israel. Tel Aviv will be targeting by missiles within hours, leader declared. It says Palestinian Jihad leader Saeed al-Nahar said on Friday that with his groups would target Tel Aviv with missiles in the coming hours. Early in a airstrike killed a senior commander on the militant organization. The metropolitan Tel Aviv will be on targets of the resisting missiles, and the coming hours will prove the enemy that all the resistance force are one, and we will fight them as one man. Al-Nahar said in remarks reported by Palestinian bloggers on news network. The Israeli Defense Forces, which is the IDF, has meanwhile deployed Iron Dome missiles. Defense ministries near the cities of Beersheba, Tel Aviv, and Jerusalem flights has been diverted from Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv, and bomb shelters in the city have been made ready. The Times of Israel reported the IDF launches airstrikes on the Palestinian cave in Gaza early Friday, killing the BIJ commander Tasher al-Jabari strikes dubbed Operation Breaking Dawn by the IDF targets between 20 and 20 PIJTERRORISTS and killing members of a TERRORIST squads who were on the way to carry out anti-tank missiles and sniper attacks. The Israeli military claim. It says the Palestinian official said that apart from the algebra, at least 7 people were killed in an airstrike, including 5 children, even though those death tolls went up a little bit more. It says more than 40 were injured. Now it's 55 injured and 10 dead. It says the dramatic escalations in the Gaza came after Israeli officials warned the days of impending strikes for the PIJ. The warning began after Israeli forces arrested the group's West Bank leader, Bashar Shadi, in the city of Jenin on Monday. A Palestinian teenager was killed in a raid on Sadai's in the city of Jenin on Monday. A Palestinian teenager was killed in a raid on Sadai's home, triggered outcry across the Palestinian territory, prompting the PIJ to place its fighters on high alert. While Hamas and another Palestinian military group was not targeted in Friday's operation, it put out a statement shortly after al-Jabari's death was announced, saying, "The blood of our people and resistance are not shed in vain." So yeah, these tensions are definitely stirring up, and this is a revisit. This is a revisiting on the escalations between Palestine and Israel. The Palestinian conflict. Now is being revisited once again, as these conflicts between these nations been ongoing on and off. So it's gonna increase now more than ever. Between these two nations, as the scripture has stated, hey, nation shall rise against nations, kingdom against kingdoms. And these two nations are definitely going to increase against one another, Especially, there's going to be a lot of war going on in the Middle East. Even though we so used to hearing these things, every day in the news, especially in the Middle East region, now it's being increased now more than ever. So these tensions between Israel and Palestine, along with Hamas as well too. On the Hamas side, they send threats to Israel along with the Palestinians as well too. So I won't be surprised they get involved in this as well too. Because they have the same enemy. If they look at the IDF, Israel, the Israelis and Israel as the enemy, I wouldn't be surprised if these both, I wouldn't be surprised as the Palestinian militants, they want revenge, They're gonna revenge their military leader that was killed in the airstrike, over in the Gaza Strip. So expect to see a response from Hamas and the Palestinian militants as well too, as this tensions increase between Israel and Palestine and Hamas as well too against Israel, So that's what goes into the increase of World War III, and we are definitely in the midst of it, because World War III is definitely imminent. Just as I brought out Revelations 11 and 14, the second woe was past, and behold, third woe coming quickly. Right, because third woe coming quickly, because we're seeing signs of that, what the tensions are increasing in the Middle East, and it's going to increase now more than ever in these last days, So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of the Yahweh Yahushua. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah Ba'ashem, Wakakadash, Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. That be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And before I close out this lesson on August the 5th, 2022, on this Friday afternoon. So yeah, hey, expect more tensions and increase between these two different nations of people, especially in the Middle East. As war going on in the Middle East is increasing now more than ever, So with that, I will say shalom and a ball.